G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Now, today's a fun video. Now, I don't know if I've done one of these in the past, but I thought I'd do another one, alright? Now, it's basically the fundamentals, alright, about riding one of these bad boys. Now, look, it's not rocket science, okay? So, come with good old Mr. Wombat and get educated on how to ride the motorcycle. First of all, you got to turn this bitch on, alright? That's easy done. Now, on your sports bike, it's probably up here in the dashboard and all that good stuff, but, man, shit. There's a few things you need to really pay attention to when you're riding a bike. Now, first one, obviously, is your kickstand. Obviously, put that bitch up when you're on the bike. Don't drop the damn thing. Otherwise, it can be quite uncomfortable when you realise and your bike don't start and you're sitting there just fucking turning it on and it's like, excuse me, sir, why aren't you, turning on? Now, every bike has a very similar sort of setup on the front. Now, they might just look different button-wise. They might have a switch as opposed, like a sliding switch as opposed to a clicky switch. Now, we might as well start with the right side. Easy stuff, especially on a Honda Rebel. Brake, mirror, obviously. Kill switch, hazard lights, ignition switch, okay? I'll turn that off for the timing. And on the left side, now, the quad lock is not included on most bikes. You got your clutch lever, unless you're driving a DCT bike or an automatic bike or a scooter. They don't tend to have a clutch. You have your high beams, your low beams, which are on by default. Some of the older bikes have an off switch, and then you have your passing lights. Some of the other bikes have a trigger over here, like a little click gun thing, all right? And that's how you get your flashes. Horn, beep beep, and then you have your indicator switch, which doesn't turn off on most bikes. You have to click it in, and then that does it. And of course, you got your mirror. Okay, so first thing you do when you're on a bike is flick the ignition. Now, if you're on most bikes, they have a light for the neutral. So if you're in neutral, obviously the light will come on, and then bam, you can roll it around. Okay, simple stuff. So the first thing you sort of want to do when you have a bike, besides getting familiar with all the controls and where your foot pegs are, is to realize that your clutch is not down here, because if you're like my friend Jason, you'll click this in, let go of the clutch, lose control, and then start clicking this and wondering why the clutch isn't going in. And on this side, obviously, you have your rear brake, all right? Rear brake's mildly important. Now, it's good for in the middle of turns as opposed to this, which is good for most of your brakes. Now, 80% of your brakes, 20% of your brakes. Got it? Beautiful, all right? Everything else is on your dash. I'm sure you can remember and you understand. Fuel tank here as well, don't worry about it when you're riding. So, bike's on, you're going to pull in your clutch. Now, you don't have to if it's in neutral, and most bikes, if they're in neutral, you can start it up with the kickstand down, but other ones, if it's down, doesn't do anything. But the moment you click it up, you pull that clutch in, and you can hit that ignition switch. Ready, set, bam. Now, your bike's obviously on. Now, what do you do from here, okay? So you can find where your clutch point is, where the grabbing point is. So obviously you can see that there. So the first thing you should do when you hop on any bike is understand where your friction point is. So that's just let your hand out slowly, and then when your bike starts moving, okay? Hold the front brake, and you can do it when you'll listen when the engine. You see how it's slowed down? And the front dives. Now if you let go, obviously if you go too much with the clutch, you'll stall the bike, okay? Well, it's not rocket science, it's like a car. Same thing goes again. On, hold that front brake in, find that friction zone, okay? Now, once you're comfortable, just start letting yourself roll a bit and then brake. Let yourself roll a bit and brake. And once you're full on there, what you want to do is give yourself a fast idle. Now, fast idle is when you just start, so you've got a little play, but see that? Look how little it takes. That's your fast idle. Now you can do that or you can just give it a bit more. Depends how fast you want to go. You get into that little fast idle and let that clutch out at the same time. And now obviously you're off and going, okay? Now you don't want to sit in first gear for too long, because obviously it's going to rev the ever-living shit out of the bike. So what you're going to do once you start going, now obviously I'm going down a hill so it's a bit different, but see how I'm in first gear? What you want to do now, you want to pull the clutch in, use a 2-finger grab, flick up, and then slowly let that clutch out, and then obviously you can get going again. Now that puts you a bit faster. Now don't cut a corner like I just did. It's not good. And obviously keep shifting as the time comes. Now once you're off and moving, it's pretty simple. You want to know how to do your lanes and everything and your shifts, but the idea is just let yourself go forward and control it like you would a push bike, but make sure you shift when the bike gets loud and it sounds like it's struggling, you shift. Now if you're going up a hill and it's struggling too much and it's not revving, shift it down. It's very simple stuff, all right? Now, so if you understand how to drive a manual car, or you have a simple grasp of reality of how vehicles work, that's all it is. You just shift when necessary. Now, obviously, if you want to come to a stop, you want to decelerate with your gears as well, so use your engine braking. So you want to, I hold it in first gear with the clutch in, and then I use both brakes progressively, okay? Now, when you're squeezing the brakes of a motorcycle, you don't just slam them no matter what the situation is. You want to slowly start grabbing them, right? Obviously, it's your right hand doing it, so it's like this. Never just a solid grab, like quickly, because the last thing you want to do is lock that front wheel up and fall down. So, as I say, it's like squeezing a fruit. Just really slowly squeeze it in, okay? See that? Lumber, that's a back thing. Load in the engine, it's struggling. That's when you shift down. Very simple stuff. And then obviously you keep revving up and shift when necessary again. Ooh, little corgi. You don't have to worry too much about rev matching and all that straight away. You can just shift down and then get in gear. It's not going to break the bike, all right? It's really not. And then once you start riding, you'll start doing things instinctively. Now, remember, motorcycle stuff is not just grab and go. You sort of got to practice and get better with practice. And it's a skill you got to practice constantly. Because if I tell you about counter steering, look, I can explain it every time, but the moment you get into a panic situation and you go to counter steer, you might fuck up and then just slam the bike into something because you panic and target fixate, alright? So let me give you a quick example of what counter steering is, okay? Now, in a car you want to go left, you turn left, but on a bike, you want to go left, you don't lean, like you can lean a little bit, but what you do is you actually push left, so watch. Oh, I'll go right, it's easier. See that? What do you notice about it? It doesn't make sense to your brain initially. You think you'd pull it to the left to turn left, so you want to turn. But when you turn it to the left, you notice it pulls to the right, because that's how counter steering works. Look, I'll demonstrate again. If I want to turn to the left, and I do that very motion, oh, what happened? I went the other way. Oh, what if I try and turn right? Okay. Oh wait, why am I going left? See, it's a strange thing to grasp, but if you want to go in direction, you push in the direction, and that will lead you in that said direction, okay? Now, if you have to panic stop on a bike, just make sure you hit both brakes, okay? The rear brake adds a lot to braking in these things. It's a lot more underrated than some people think it is. But that's basically the gist of how you start riding a bike, okay? Now, there's obviously a lot more complicated things, and maybe in the future I'll do a little bit longer one, but this should give you the firm grasp of how to basically get the thing going, okay? Clutch, accelerate, take off, bam, fantastic. Now you're a Rossi man, okay? Knee down around every corner, everything. But I just wanted to do a simple one, because I know some people like to Google how to ride bikes, and it's literally that easy. Just be sensible in your first few months. Don't act like the sense of speed and the cockiness comes a lot faster than the skill does. And believe me, you don't want to get over cocky with no skill, because that's how you do a corner with your knee down and then break yourself because you didn't realize that you weren't skilled enough for said corner. But hey, you got to learn to make your own mistakes, right? But I hope you enjoyed, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Obviously, comment down below if you think I missed anything important, and I'll add it in another video, of course. But take it easy, keep it cheesy, and as always, peace, ta-da, bye!